When COVID first started, one of our very first partners that we joined forces with were the Atlanta Hawks and State Farm. And our work with our pop-up grocery store has garnered a lot of attention nationally from other teams and owners. And one of the first teams to reach out and say, hey, can we do something like this here, is the New Orleans Pelicans and one of their key players, Brandon Ingram. So it took a lot. I thought for sure we could do it. New Orleans is just a 5.5, 6 hour ride. And I thought it would be a great opportunity to get my team together. We're always together all the time. Many of us haven't been anywhere outside of Atlanta. So I thought, hey, let's get on a bus. Let's go to New Orleans. Let's bring this Goodr culture to New Orleans and make sure that people eat. Okay, then we need a lot of guys to help unload things off of the pallets. So that's gonna be really critical. The truck right now, we've got 4 guys. We could probably use 2 more. The next thing is we need a lot of people making shelf-stable bags. We have some like New Orleans themed kind of items that we wanna give, the first 100 families, like a lot of like crab boil, things of that nature. But shelf-stable bags, we need to make a lot of them and just have them out here. And we're making everything outside, so just kind of know like everything is being done right out here. Everyone make sure you have on your mask today, you have on gloves today, especially if you're carrying stuff to the cars. So yeah, really we're gonna have about 2.5 hours, if that. 2 hours and 20 minutes to just get everything set up. What we do have now for sure is produce, so produce can get started, shelf-stable bags, and then everybody else just helping us unload. This whole pallet right now is going to be broken down because that's going to be nothing but ramen noodles and cereal. And that one right now we can already start putting cereal and ramen noodles in the shelf-stable bags. Like that's a good thing to start on right now. And then other than that, like everyone should be moving. I don't want to see nobody sitting around acting like they don't have nothing to do because there's a lot to do. With going to New Orleans, I thought it was really important that not only do we bring the Goodr culture from Atlanta there, we really had to incorporate a lot of what makes New Orleans great. And so we had the Zatarans, we had the jambalaya, we had the red beans and rice, we had, the beignet mix. We really went all out to make sure that we were meeting people where they were. Yeah, we really weren't going to start check-in, officer, until 12:30.
I understand that, but we can't have these people, they can't have them locked into the line.
So what if I don't check them in? What if I just tell certain people, like, hey, if you're just trying to leave,
right,
get out of here?
Right, you're not checking them. You're just asking them whether or not...
So why don't you guys go and do that?
I'll do that.
That's fine.
That way the people that's not here for the event, they're not stuck in line waiting and they don't know why they're sitting there.
So we're about 20 minutes from starting. I want you guys to eat, but then I want the next kind of focus to really be on making sure everything looks really good. I think it's gonna be really crowded until the very, very end, and it should just be steady. So the day should really go by fast. So grab lunch and then make the venue look as pretty as possible in 15 minutes. All right, thank you. I even thought, hey, I got to have a band out there. So I looked high and low to find a second line band. And for many, we hired 2 bands during the time when we were in New Orleans. And both of those bands told us that it was their first time working in over a month. So that was great. Loved New Orleans. One of my family reunions was there when I was about 12. And one of the things that I recall is the snow cones, the snowballs, and how great they were. And so as soon as I figured that we were going to be in New Orleans, that was one of the first things I put out a call for. I said, we got to have somebody there doing snowballs. And I found a young lady who owned her own company, and we brought her on both days. And so I really worked hard to make sure that New Orleans felt loved, that they felt supported. We supported local farmers in Louisiana by purchasing produce directly from them. So a lot of herbs, spices, we brought potatoes, onions, so much locally. And I think that's one of the things that Goodr does. We are all about community, and we live.
This event today was very good to see because being a survivor of Katrina, I've seen a lot of people go through unexpected natural disasters, and I think this pandemic is one of them. So we really needed this in New Orleans again to let people know that we are not forgotten. People still look out for us and people still care.
Just kind of giving a tour, if you will, of activation and moment. It's a lot that goes into feeding a few hundred people. And so to start, it's just getting all of the food supplies on site. So as you can see, we have a few team members here unloading a box truck. This is essentially full with all type of items. Some of these box trucks may be refrigerated, some not. Once we get all of the items on site, we really have to set up stations to make sure that we can get through this food distribution as efficiently as possible. And so sometimes we'll come to a site with grocery bags pre-assembled already, but oftentimes we will have to assemble these bags on site at the actual distribution location. And so as you can see, we've got team members over here unpacking many of the pallets that have been unloaded. And so they'll be divided up into stations, if you will. We'll have a meat station, dry goods, beverages, shelf-stable items, produce, etc. And we'll have team members assembling bags on site. We're really coming and creating, a pretty big activation in these neighborhoods. And so working hand in hand with Parks and Rec, with police departments, having to coordinate traffic flow, all of that are additional critical elements. And so as you can see, Jasmine and other team members are out here really just helping to discuss what is going to be the optimal route for people to pass through and receive these items.
I mean, it is going to get back to So that's without a doubt.
But luckily, you're only talking about 300 families, so.
And we do have them staggered. So like 50 are signed up for 2 o'clock, another 50 at 2:30, another 50 at 3, another 50 at 3:30. So they are kind of staggered. And then a lot of, just people have been walking by, and we're telling them if we have any excess food, we'll give it away at 4 o'clock.
Oh, if you're only talking about 50 and they staggered, this would be easy.
Okay.
Hey, this is DJ Jubilee, man. Look, right now today at AL David Playground, man, we have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day right now, man. We got family food giveaway, man. is very important. This is how important it is because they have a variety of food that I've never seen before that people ever pass out, man. I'm talking about shrimp, chicken, ribs. They got drinks, they got fruits, they got veggies. This is when you know you're giving out some real good home food for family, man, that really, really need this type of stuff, man.
Seeing how the city evolved after post-Katrina gives me hope that we're going to make it through, right, during this time, that we're going to return to some type of normalcy, but things will change. The city has progressed. We're just a resilient city, and we're resilient people in general, and I think that was like one of the emphasis of, you know, how we got back to where we are. But some of the things that are challenges is the fact that Black people, which is a large majority of the population here in New Orleans, are still very poor, and they live in underserved areas of the city, whereas, as people would say after Katrina, in New Orleans, the rich live amongst the poor, right? And so you can like go to neighborhood. One neighborhood you'll be in front of mansions, right, multi-million-dollar homes, and literally 3 blocks over, it's low-income housing. And so the just nature of there still being a lot of poverty within the city, issues with housing, affordable housing, but there's a lot of great leaders here, and with companies like Goodr and others seeing the need here in New Orleans, I think that we have committed to moving the city forward for everyone. I will say that after Katrina, that's when everybody wanted to give to New Orleans, right? And so now we're almost 15 years post-Katrina. A lot of that giving has definitely let up. And so when we see companies coming from other cities to come to New Orleans and make an impact, it's something that we definitely welcome with open arms.
Day 2 in New Orleans, we were in what used to be called the Magnolia Projects. I never knew that. So really what it's called now is Uptown. We had over 400 families that were registered, but then the word just started spreading. And I tell you, we never could get out of there. I mean, we just were trying to break down, and people just kept coming, and they were coming with their children. And you know what? We still had food, and my thought was, let's just leave empty. Let's leave empty. Let's make sure that we give people everything that we have. We don't need to take anything back. And literally we had people just lined up across the fence that were just asking for food, and my team was just making bags and handing them over. And then at one point we even ran out of bags because, again, we were serving way more families than we planned to. But I tell you one thing, everyone that came up to us left with something. Even towards the very last minute, everybody left with food. So that's the cool thing. So life is Goodr. It's been a hell of a journey, just thinking that we were gonna film this glimpse into what it takes to grow a startup before we ever thought that coronavirus was gonna happen. I think that's the craziest thing about what we've put together. When I first thought of doing this series, I just wanted to give people a glimpse into what it looked like to start a startup and what my journey really entailed. And I wanted to show people that it was hard. That there were days that, heck yeah, I wanted to give up, but there were a lot of good days. At the end of all of it, we were always focused on fulfilling our mission, which was to feed more people and waste less food. If coronavirus has taught me anything, it's that you gotta be prepared for anything. I mean, it's just, nothing is the same, nothing is constant. But if you believe in what you're doing and you believe that you are the person to solve it, which I have always stated, I believe that I am the one that's gonna, kick hunger's butt, and that, if given the opportunity, if giving the funding, if giving the access, I can really make a difference in the lives that I've set out to change. I think this is just a turning point for Goodr. I believe it's just the beginning of what's gonna happen. I see Goodr all over the country in years to come, soon all over the world. And I really wanna see people having an opportunity to have access to quality food, to be restored with dignity, treated with the respect that they ultimately deserve. And, I want Goodr to be a part of that. I want Goodr to be a part of what I will call world change and social change. I think that we've really often been, people's greatest hope in their darkest hours. When people didn't know where food was gonna come from, Goodr showed up. And I've heard that over and over again from countless families, that are saying, hey, my kids were laying down and taking a nap. I didn't know where food was gonna come from, and I get a call from your driver and he says, hey, I'm 7 minutes away. Like, those are the things that we've been able to do in the span of just 4 months, and I just will never ever take that for granted. The work that Goodr does is so real. The people that we help are real. The team is incredible. We are small, but we're mighty. And I think that, the world is just seeing all that Goodr is gonna do.